A lot of people here on YouTube love to talk about retiring on the wheel strategy, making $5, $10, $20,000 per month in premium. But is it actually a reality for people like me and you? In today's video, that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to show you also why I believe the wheel strategy is a leaky bucket that is costing people running it a tremendous amount of money. And every single person that also comments down below on today's video is going to get my personal option selling retirement strategy guide. This is how I'm combining 5 sources of income and premium into the leaky wheel strategy bucket to be able to create a retirement income for yourself. And of course, you can always go on my website, onlypeterpru.com or optionsellerschool.com, to see my broker statements. I try to be as transparent as possible here on the channel so you can actually know that you are learning from somebody that is actively doing this strategy. But without further ado, let's get into today's video, guys. Let's do a quick little recap if that's okay. All right, because I'm going to assume if you click this video, you probably do have hopes of retiring on the wheel strategy. Damn it, I do too, right? And I'm going to be damn honest with you. My plan is to my primary source of income during my retirement years is to be doing this strategy I'm going to share with you guys. But the issue with the wheel strategy is that you're only collecting essentially 2 sources of income, right? Those are the 2 primary sources of income, right? So do a quick little recap of the wheel, right? We sell a cash secured put. We wait to see if we get assigned. If we did, cool, right? If not, we sell another put and we kind of hang out here, right? We know that, right? You guys know that, right? Drop a comment if you don't. I'll make sure your question is addressed. If we get assigned, then we get into selling those calls, right? We start selling something called a covered call, where now instead of our money that we have locked up, now we're locking up our hundreds of shares or 100 shares. We're running covered calls on a weekly or monthly basis, and we're generating premiums on both sides. It's absolutely fantastic. But here is where those issue lies. And actually, the reason I wanted to shoot this video is like I was in a debate on X recently, and I saw somebody talking about, and I'm just using here on Robinhood. You guys know I like to show this one for educational purposes only. It's easier to kind of show. And they were doing like weeklies, right? They were doing weeklies, but they were doing like 10 delta weeklies, right? So like, for example, let's see, it was like right around here, like a 644 next week on SPY, right? It's like just about a 0.10 delta, and you're collecting about a $60 here. Now, listen, look, we'll go to our cash secured book calculator so I can show you guys the actual return on this specific trade. Obviously not financial advice. These results will 100% vary for you, right? But what we're seeing here is you're getting $60 of premium, right? And this calculator is completely for free for you in our Facebook group. Link will be in the description, but you're locking up $64,000, right? That's kind of insanity in my opinion, right? This is kind of insanity. $64,400, right? Let's just make it completely accurate, right? You're making just about 0.09%. Now, listen, if it's pure income play, then you and sure, that's fine. But in my opinion, this is an absolutely bonkers trade, even if it is a 7-day expiration here, right? And I want to show you why, right? Number one, right, we got to build everything on a rock solid foundation, and that's why I believe that I offer a slightly unique perspective, guys. I'm not going to say I'm like an absolute expert in the markets or anything like that. I over-engineered the wheel strategy for myself because for me, this is going to be a primary source of income during my retirement years. So by the time I get to that point, I'm going to do everything in my power to know everything about this strategy and be an absolute beast at it. And honestly, starting this YouTube channel really has already paid me so much more than I could ever imagine in terms of like just seeing other people's trades, seeing different situations. Like, my game has gotten so much better because of it, right? And that's why I want to shoot these videos, to share them with you guys, because I know a lot of people love running the wheel strategy, but they're missing out on so many gains. They're missing out on gains that they didn't even know it's possible. So what I call now is, I call this the Ark Options Strategy. A lot of you that tune in here daily know I talk about this. Now, here is where we are combining 5 sources of income or premium, right? And this is where our focus is. Our North Star is to make sure that all of these are firing off in our trades, okay? So for example, right, our cash secured put premium, we're saying we're going to buy 100 shares of a stock or ETF. Cool, we're collecting that premium, right? Next, we want to make sure we are earning our cash secured put interest, okay? So as some of you guys know, I like to use Fidelity because it's purely passive, right? You could see my cash right here is held in the money market, and I am earning interest on that, right? Because of my cash secured puts here, I'm earning interest while I wait to buy a stock, right? On Robinhood, guys, you ain't doing it. you're not getting cash secured put interest on your interest, right? While you're waiting, right? They're taking that collateral and they're doing the fugazis. They're moving all that money around, however they're moving it, money, all these digits on a screen, right? And they're making money on your money, right? And you're not getting anything. I'm at least getting just about 4% paid out from Fidelity. So that's step number one. Is the broker you're even using giving you your money, right? Now, listen, that's an easy way. Listen, my point in this channel is to share with you guys little things that you can implement. Now, maybe moving a broker isn't a little change by any means. Listen, it's a pain in the butt if you ask me. That's for sure. Drop an amen in the comments if you agree, if you've ever done that, especially trying to get off Robinhood. They begging you with everything out there. All right, but for your cash secured put interest, there's primarily only two brokerages that I am recommending. Not that, again, you could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. Just primarily where I have experience is obviously Fidelity. That's primarily what I'm using right now to earn my passive interest. I don't have to touch it. Listen, I'm a lazy guy. I got other things that I want to be doing. All right. Number two is you can use Schwab. Now, Schwab's slightly more manual, but I believe in you. You can handle it, right? Is you can have your money, your excess cash tied that for cash secured puts tied in a money market, and then just moving it from there when you get assignment. So a little bit more of a quote unquote manual work, but not really. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't just turn my mic off by hitting it. But with that said, okay, the next thing is covered call premiums. A lot of people fear assignment in this space. So this was the argument that I had with this person on X. It's like, I just don't want assignment. I don't want assignment. Well, I'm like, then you're not running the wheel strategy. Then you're not right. If you are scared of assignment, you are not running the wheel strategy, right? You are simply selling cash secured puts. Stop saying if you are always refusing assignment, if you're always playing with these 0.05, 0.10 delta stuff that probably once a year you take assignment, you are not running the wheel strategy, in my opinion. And that's fine. Maybe that's your strategy and that's perfectly fine. If it serves you, perfect. That's fantastic. But I think it is insanely misleading to say you're running the wheel strategy when you're doing like point. That is not a wheel strategy. The wheel strategy, the point of a wheel strategy is to be assigned. That's how the wheel goes around. You're never going to make the wheel go around if you're only selling puts at like a 0.10 delta and like taking assignment once a week. You're going to be just living right here. You're like a half wheel, right? Right? Like that's so the point is, in my opinion, for me, I want to be assigned. You guys have seen me do this in my public portfolio. Again, I try to be as transparent as possible. I just got my broker statements. I'm going to be posting those every single month at onlypeterpru.com and optionsellerschool.com, so you can check those out if you want to. But you guys have seen me on my trade log here, right? You've seen all my trade log. Look how many times I've been assigned. I then sold a covered call, and then I ended up getting selling those shares, right? And that's perfect, right? You can see that happen on SoFi. It might happen here on Kraft Heinz. I got to sign my cash secured puts on Kraft Heinz, right? And so on and so on. And you can get this trade log by clicking the first link in the description of today's video. Plus, you'll even learn more in depth about what we're talking about here, right? But you can get this trade log, first link. So with that said, right, assignment is critical to the wheel strategy. Here's another reason why, right? Obviously, we have our fifth leg, and that is the appreciation sale. The appreciation sale is like the creme de la creme. That immediately boosts you drastically, right? So depending on whatever your targets are, I'm usually trying to be a little bit more conservative, guys, around 2% a month ROI on my collateral. Not financial advice, results 100% vary. Dude on the internet has no idea what he's talking about. That's my aim. That's what I'm going for in the portfolio that I'm sharing with you guys and those financial broker statements. That's what I'm aiming for. Does it always happen? No, right? You could see some of these. I only got a 1.86 premium return, a 1.8, 1.57, right? Some I did was a little bit more aggressive. Like, look at this American Airline one. I got 3.36%, but look at American Airlines trading under my strike price already, right? So you have to weigh, there's like this balancing act, right? Because everybody loves to talk about the wheel strategies. It's easy, but then they have no idea how to manage it. They have no idea what they're doing. They start clicking buttons. Next thing you know, they get assigned. They can't do covered calls and they quit and they stop. And that's the last thing I want to see happen to you, right? That's the last thing I want to see happen to you, because I truly believe if you master this strategy, you could do it in like, honestly, like 30 minutes a week, right? You don't need to spend all day on the charts looking at this, right? You can open up your trades. You can then do some good till canceled orders, right? To buy to close them at 80, 90% premium. But this is where that education comes in, right? Or surrounding yourself with other people, right? I can't stress it enough, guys. Education is absolutely key in finances. Y'all know that, right? And this is part of my thing is like, I'm still like, I want to learn other things too, right? Like, and for me, trading is a big part of my life. I absolutely love it. But with that said, I've found that for me, if I'm good at honing in on one specific thing. That's like my superpower, and I'm gonna give it my all. I have a very obsessive personality. Like, if any of my friends are watching, they will 100% agree with that. Like, I hone in, right? Like when I was younger, it was like Halo 2 tournaments and World of Warcraft. When I'm older, it was like online businesses and wheel strategy, right? And when I finally find that thing I really like I will dive into it. I'm gonna dive into it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna obsess over it, right? Like, and that's what this strategy is for me, right? I want to be the best that I can be with this, because I'm gonna, again, rely on it as a primary source of income during my retirement years. Not the wheel strategy, the Ark Options Strategy. But with that said, the appreciation sale, guys, here, look at this. Here's my one on SoFi where they finally got called away. Look at this trade. 23.82% gain, just about 24% on that. Like, that's huge, because I, again, captured such a large amount of appreciation profit. Now, I did lose a little bit here, right? But with that said, that's still a massive, massive gain. You miss out a lot without ever selling your shares and doing an appreciation sale. Now, obviously, guys, the asterisk here, it totally depends on your cost, but it depends on your tax strategy. There's a lot that goes into making sure that you're if it's right for you. I'm just talking about what I'm doing, at least what I'm sharing here publicly on YouTube. And then lastly is dividends. I love running this wheel strategy, the Ark Options Strategy, on dividend paying stocks. Why? Because I'm essentially trying to manufacture my interest, right? With my cash secured puts, I'm earning passive interest, right? But with covered call premiums, right, we're not earning interest anymore on that money, right? So I try to manufacture it. If and when I can, I will always try to stick with dividend paying stocks, right? That way I'm braced for impact. If I do get assigned, at least I'm collecting a decent dividend. Maybe I'm not getting the insane covered call premiums, but I might be getting an extra 4%, 4 to 6% a year just in dividend payments, plus a little covered call premium on a monthly basis. That's really good, in my opinion. That is, for me, a really good strategy that at least gives me some kind of like fallbacks, instead of being like just stuck holding like some triple leveraged ETF on God knows what, that's just literally going to sit there for the rest of my life haunting me when I look at my portfolio. So guys, if you want this full trade log plus learning even more about the Ark Option Strategy, mastermind, and mentorship, if you made it this far, I know I resonate with you in some way, shape, or form. So click the first link in the description of today's video. You're going to learn about it. If you give me a little bit of time, you also get my full trade log here as well that you can duplicate for yourself. You can follow along with my trades. All that will be in the first link of the description of today's video, guys. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.